Good morning, good evening. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing, we wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you joining us today, we welcome you in. I was down here checking on some various things when I noticed this cute little warning on the side of my beer barrel for brewing. And it says, warning, children can fall into the bucket and drown. Keep children away from the bucket with even a small amount of liquid. Let me be honest with this. That does seem scary. Except for the fact that, I'm a big guy, but I would have to be a newborn, an absolute newborn to fall in there. And if you're brewing beer around a newborn that cannot walk, or even one that's being trained to walk, this seems positively ridiculous. The question becomes, how did this warning become necessary? Obviously, it happened at some point, because they wouldn't need the warning on it otherwise. And the shameful thing is that they had to put it there. So, what happened? Who was brewing beer and left their infant so that it could get in there? I mean, in order to make beer, you have to put the lid on. So, yes, children are smart. There's the old saying, never work with animals, never work with children. Children are just smart enough to get themselves into trouble, and that's probably where this comes from. But still, for them to be able to get their fingers under this lid, which you have to hammer into place, and get themselves in there without spilling the whole thing, it's darn near impossible. But if I threw the cat in there, the cat would get out of there no problem whatsoever, because it would wobble itself back and forward, knock the bucket over, and be out. But this is the example, not of a society that's gone into degradation, which a lot of people would say, which is arguably true, but it's a sign of over-protectionism. This happened to somebody, and somebody sued and won a lot of money, and that's why this logo is on there. Not because this is a regular occurrence, not because people are stupid, not because 99.9% of people are not going to be leaving open buckets with water around them for children to play in. Or I don't know, maybe this is a cheap way to bathe your kid. Cheaper than the tub. People come up with some strange ideas. The truth is, this is an example of a society where one lawsuit leads to paranoia. That's why when you look at your medication, it lists 10 million side effects. Oh, may cause loss of hair, may cause loss of appetite, may cause gastric infection, may cause la 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 la. The list goes on. And they have to give you that little piece of paper with your medicine that lists all those possibilities. Well, the truth of medication is the same thing. One person in the trial reports it happening for some freak circumstance that they don't even know. And because of that, they have to report it as a side effect. Again, I'm not going to lecture you on what drugs to take and what drugs not to, except for the fact that the ones that are illegal are probably not a good idea to take. That being said, no judgment against you, whatever you choose to do, whether it be enjoying a barrel full of beer, or whether it be, smoking some dope and watching some TV. No judgment. But we've become such a litigious society that warnings are on everything. Bags have warnings on them now to make sure that you don't suffocate from them. Well, As kids, we all did something stupid with a bag, put it over our head, etc. As a matter of fact, I think one of George Carlin's comedy routines specifically mentions that. No kid ever had a smart idea with a bag. Or was that Steve Hofstadter? One of the great comedians has a whole routine on that. And unfortunately, as a human species, not many of us grow out of that infant stage. As adults, we still put stuff in our mouth we shouldn't. Anyone in the world who's ever hammered nails in, you've put a few in your mouth from time to time, just so that you would have them and have your hands free. Yep, I've done it. Screws, same thing. Now you're smart and you don't want to bite down, but all sorts of things happen when you're up in a ladder and trying to keep your hands free. So screws should probably come with a warning on them not to put them in your mouth. But we still are going to do it. Because this sort of thing can't happen to us. And that's what the person who had this believed. Well, that can't happen to me. And it does. Just because it's 1 in a million or even 1 in a billion, there's 7.5 billion people in the world. So this is going to happen to somebody every year for whatever crazy reason. Maybe it fell over and somehow landed open with a lot of liquid inside. Maybe you are one of the lucky few whose genetic code is not compatible with a vaccine, with a drug, whatever it happens to be, and that's just the way things are. I'll be honest, today I'm fighting a headache. There's no reason for me to have a headache. I mean, I got a decent amount of sleep, I hydrated properly, and the weather's not bad. I don't normally get headaches, and here I am swallowing a major pain relief medication like they're Tic Tacs, and it's not going away. It's still there. Normally I take 1 dose and I'm fine. But this thing started last night. It's not going away. Some people say, oh no, don't take that pain reliever. Take this natural stuff instead. And I've tried it, and actually the natural pain relievers are pretty good. But pain is purely personal. Just because something works for me doesn't mean it works for you. For the 7.5 billion people out there with all of our different combinations and everything that makes us human, the fact is what works for you is not going to work for me. Because I know my cat and my kid are never going to be in this situation does not mean that I should turn around and say, it's pish-posh to have these warnings on things. No, they actually do serve a purpose. Just enough of a purpose that having them there, maybe it'll wake somebody up. Some parent out there who has had the brilliant idea of brewing their own beer, or whatever. Maybe they're using this for laundry. Maybe they're using this to do their dishes. Everyone's living condition is different. 7.5 billion different ways to live on this planet. Some similar to each other, some not so similar to each other. Either way, the point is, we're a very diverse species. We have so many different ways to exist in this world. And in all that, crazy things happen. So yes, these warnings are annoying. We look at them, we scoff. That's not going to happen to me. And you know what? The vast majority of times, we're right. It's not going to happen to me. But it's worth paying attention to for that 1 time in a million that it might happen to you. Don't know whose kid that was, and I feel bad for whoever it happened to. And the fact that it happened once in 7.5 billion times, it's still a tragedy. The warnings on the sides of your medication, it's still a tragedy. Somebody had to go through that. And the tragedies, they keep coming because, unfortunately, if there's a way to use something different from the original intended method, 7.5 billion brains out there, one of them's going to find the wrong way to do things. Just a couple thoughts that occurred to me while I was looking at this. We wish to thank you for joining us on the Silverlight Show today. Thank you very much, and we hope you all have a great day.